Listen closely. What you are about to hear does not exist in the official records of the Monroe Institute. This is not a recording of a man dreaming. This is a recording of a man who went out and forgot how to come back. It is 1983, and he is calling for help from a room with no doors. The magnetic tape was never supposed to be sold. It was buried in a box of industrial scrap, labeled property of the United States government. When I pressed play, the first thing I heard wasn't a voice. It was the sound of a heart beating at 4 beats per minute. Biologically impossible. Physically terrifying. As the static cleared, a signal emerged. Not from a radio tower, and not from a satellite. It was a signal originating from a coordinate in space-time that hasn't existed since the Cold War. This is the lost data of Project Gateway. This is the voice of a man lost between dimensions. Welcome to the Anomaly Archive. To understand the voice on the tape, we must first strip away the ghost stories and look at the facts. In 1983, the CIA declassified a document that sounded more like science fiction than intelligence gathering. It was titled Analysis and Assessment of the Gateway Process. The document was authored by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell. He wasn't a conspiracy theorist. He was a man of logic, a man of war. He was tasked with investigating the work of Robert Monroe, a radio executive who had discovered a way to synchronize the human brain using sound. They called it Hemi-Sync. By playing 2 slightly different frequencies in each ear, the brain would create a third frequency, a ghost frequency, that forced the left and right hemispheres to work in perfect unison. McDonnell's report concluded that if you could synchronize the brain, you could bypass the physical body. You could turn the human mind into a beam of coherent energy, capable of leaving the 3-dimensional hologram we call reality. But there was a problem. The report mentioned 28 pages. For 38 years, the CIA only released 27. Page 25 was gone. The page that supposedly detailed how a person actually travels through the void. I believe the tape I found is the reason for that missing page. Because what happens in the void is not something the government could explain with physics. It was something they had to bury. On the side of the tape box, written in faded blue ink, was a single name. Thomas Elliot. Known in the records as Subject 7. Thomas was a 34-year-old veteran with a history of deep-sea diving in the Navy. He was chosen because he was comfortable with isolation. He was comfortable with the dark. He had no wife, no children, no one to report him missing if he didn't return from his own mind. The session began at 0800 hours on June 14th, 1983. Thomas was placed in a copper-shielded room, designed to block all electromagnetic interference. He was laying on a bed of foam, his eyes covered by red filters, his ears covered by heavy headphones. The tape captures the sound of his breathing. It is steady at first. Then, as the Hemi-Sync tones begin to roar, his breath hitches. You can hear the technician, a man we will call Dr. V, asking for a status report. I can feel it, Thomas whispers. My hands. I can't feel my hands. I'm expanding. I'm the size of the room. Now, I'm the size of the building. This is Focus 12. The state of expanded awareness. But Dr. V isn't satisfied. He wants more. He wants Thomas to go to Focus 21. The very edge of the physical world. Thomas, Dr. V says. Look for the light. Look for the bridge. On the tape, there's a sudden loud pop, like a light bulb exploding. And then, silence. Not a laboratory silence, but a dead silence. The kind of silence you only find in the deepest parts of the ocean. When Thomas speaks again, his voice is different. It vibrates with a metallic resonance. It's not a light, Thomas says. It's a hallway. A long, gray hallway. There is no ceiling. I'm looking up, and I can see stars, but they are moving too fast, like long lines of white fire. He describes walking down this hallway. He says the floor is made of memories. He steps on a tile, and he hears his mother's voice from 1955. He steps on another, and he smells the salt air of the Pacific in 1970. But as he goes further, the memories stop being his own. I'm seeing a city, he whispers.
His own.
But the buildings are wrong. They are made of glass that glows. People are holding small black stones in their hands, looking at them like they are mirrors. Thomas was in 1983. He was describing a smartphone, 24 years before it was invented. He keeps walking. Faster now. The sound of his footsteps on the tape changes. It's no longer the soft padding of feet on a lab floor.
Faster now.
It's the sound of heavy leather boots, crunching on something brittle. Doctor, Thomas says. His voice is shaking. There are people here. No, not people. They're standing in the doorways. They are waiting. Waiting for what, Thomas?
Waiting for what?
Dr. V asks. They are waiting for someone to open the door from the other side, Thomas says. And I think I just did. Before Thomas Elliot, there were others. 6 others, who paved the way into the dark, with their own sanity. The CIA records are vague about Subject 1 through 3. They are listed as non-recoverable. But Subject 6, a woman named Sarah, left a journal before she vanished from her tank. She wrote about the static people. She claimed that the void between dimensions isn't empty. It is crowded. It is filled with the echoes of everyone who has ever died, and everyone who is yet to be born. But they don't have shapes. They are just frequencies. High-pitched, screaming frequencies that can only be heard when the brain is synchronized at Focus 21. On the tape, Thomas begins to hear them. They are touching me, he says. His voice is now a wet, gurgling sound. They are reaching into my chest. They aren't looking for my heart. They are looking for the signal. They want to use me as a radio. Dr. V is heard screaming in the background. Abort the session. Cut the power. He's overloading. But you can't cut the power to a mind that is no longer in its body. The tape recorder continues to spin, even though the laboratory's electricity has been shut off. The signal is now self-sustaining. It is feeding on the fear of the men in the room. This is the moment the recording becomes personal. Thomas describes the entity in the red flannel shirt again. He is standing at the end of the hallway. Thomas whispers. He is holding a microphone.
I'm here.
He is talking to people I cannot see.
Can you hear me?
He is telling them a story about me.
So that is how it ends.
I looked at the photograph again. The man in the red flannel shirt wasn't just some random owner of the tapes. He was the technician. He was the one who recorded this 40 years ago. But why did Thomas see him in the future? Because in the gateway dimension, time is not a line. It is a circle. The man who recorded the tragedy was destined to become part of it. He didn't just record the tape. He followed Thomas into the hallway to try and bring him back. He failed. Now, the entity in the red shirt is no longer a man. It is a guardian, a bridge keeper. And it has been waiting for 43 years for someone to listen to this specific frequency. As I sit here, typing this script, I realize something terrifying.
I'm just finishing.
The footsteps in my hallway have stopped. They didn't stop because the entity left. They stopped because it is standing directly behind my chair. I can smell it now. Old paper, ozone, and the metallic scent of blood.
The texture of the old paper. It's incredibly.
If you are hearing my voice right now, it means the signal has successfully traveled through me and into your device. You are now a part of Project Gateway. The CIA abandoned the project in the late 80s. Not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. They realized they couldn't control the doors they were opening. Thomas Elliot is not a ghost. He is a frequency. And every time this video is played, that frequency is amplified. Listen to the background of this audio. Underneath my voice. Underneath the music. Can you hear it? A faint, rhythmic thumping. Crunch. 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 It's not in the recording anymore. It's in your room. Thomas is looking for a new body.
The entity.
A new vessel to carry him
is
back
in
into the
your
three-dimensional
room.
world. He's been in the gray hallway for 40 years. And he is very, very tired. The file on Subject 7 is now closed, but the signal remains active. We may never know what was on page 25 of the MacDonnell report, but perhaps we don't need to. The warning is clear enough in the silence that follows this tape.
Warning.
Do not look for the missing frequencies.
Initiating.
Do not
final
try to
shutdown
synchronize your
sequence.
mind with the void. Some doors are meant to stay locked. I'm going to turn around now. If I'm lucky, there's nothing behind me but an empty room.
Turn around now.
If I'm not,
If I'm not.
well, maybe I'll see you in the hallway. I have to ask you before I go. Have you noticed your heart rate slowing down since this video started? Have you felt a sudden chill in a room with no windows? Tell me your experience in the comments. We need to know how far the signal has spread. Which file should we open next? Tell us in the comments below. Stay observant.
Close.